Had myself muted. Welcome back to another episode of Rise to Liberty podcast. We are doing another installment of Satanic Panic is Real. It is much later than I intended it to be, so I do apologize for that. Had a bunch of catching up to do on certain things, had to get some things ready for next week. So just right out of the gate, next week, I won't be here, at least I won't be live. The show will still go on, but it will be recorded shows for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yes. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be recorded shows. And then after that, it will be back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's see here. So there's a lot going on. There is so much going on. It's a little difficult to honestly kind of narrow it down. I mean, there's an overabundance of things to talk about, to share, to look at, to review. Let's see here. Been having some issues. I'm not sure exactly what is happening. Of course, the last couple of days, the internet or many different places on the internet have had some sort of cyber attack or something. I'm not entirely sure. I honestly haven't paid attention, looked into it, but we have alternatives. It just takes me a second to get there. Let's see. First and foremost, I would like to say that okay. Got the wrong thing pulled up. Of course I do. Anyone new here? Come on. This is an ongoing series that I've been doing where we look at the Satanic Panic of the 1980s and 1990s. I mean, that's the focus of it. However, we also visit the 60s. My personal opinion is that all of this really started in 1969. So let's see, that would be 57 years of panicking. 57 full years of panicking this year. So let's see here. Anyways, anyone that would like to check out the other episodes, there's a full playlist on my YouTube channel. So go over, check that out. There's so much more to come as well. This is such a pain in the ass having to switch through these different things. Let's see. Okay. Oh, let's dive straight into it. Okay. So first and foremost, this is the thing I saw today that kind of set me off. We will get to who this person is in just a moment. Let's see. Let me zoom in over here. But first, let's look at what is going on with exactly what he says. So this is a man named Michael Tracy, a rather well-known person, at least on Twitter or X, whatever. As you can see, 343.5 thousand followers. I mean, roving journalist, friend to all dogs. Okay, well, that's great, but the guy's retarded. So this is just something that kind of upset me today, and I think everyone will see why if you haven't already started reading it. So if you've been living under a rock, the Epstein, everything, the Epstein list, the Epstein documents, emails, the Epstein patterns, everything. It's practically anything that anyone is talking about now. Michael is at best a contrarian. At worst, he is a paid shill for clients of Epstein. Not really sure. personally, okay, there's nothing wrong with being skeptical. In fact, I would encourage all of you watching this, whether you're watching it live or watching it later, be skeptical. Be skeptical of the things that I say, please. But Michael Tracy takes it to such a degree, such a extreme, that it's hard to believe that it's organic. It's hard to believe that this is like a genuine opinion. And even if it is a genuine opinion, it's so far in the opposite direction that it's not helping. It's so far that people all around the world, I assume, or at least here in the States, I mean, this post itself has 125.3K views, and it's semi sort of viral. But there was a really big clip from Piers Morgan, which we'll get to in just a sec, with Michael Tracy. Tons of people are questioning whether he's paid or not, specifically by Epstein victims. So anyways, for those just listening, Michael Tracy's tweet earlier, I guess, let's see. Yeah, earlier today is as follows. Ultimately, it was shown that the satanic panic daycare craze of the 1980s originated with confabulated rambles of one deluded, mentally ill woman who was then bizarrely legitimated by lawyers, activists, and journalists. Very similar to the methodological origins of the Epstein craze, namely Virginia Roberts Giuffre, Maria Farmer, and Sarah Ransom. Three profoundly mentally ill women whose confabulatory delusions were legitimized and amplified by the hyper-credulous media, profit-seeking lawyers, and NGO trafficking activists. The parallels are uncanny. Where do we even begin? First of all, none of the trafficking NGOs have actually said a fucking thing. Not one of them. So I don't know where he is with that. Let's see here. So for what he says to be true, we have to take his premise that the satanic panic daycare craze of the 1980s originated with the confabulated rambles of one deluded, mentally ill woman. I assume he is referencing Michelle Smith from Michelle Remembers. That was the book. Something we've talked a little bit about, but not a whole lot over here on the channel. Let's see here. Should have just switched all of this over to the other program. Oh, well. Let's see here. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell exactly who he's talking about. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Michelle Smith of the 1980 Michelle Remember. It was literally everywhere. It exploded onto the scene. I mean, it did take a minute right after it was published, but as soon as media got a hold of it, it was off to the races. Also, he could be referencing, let's see, there's another woman that kind of gets blamed for this as well, being a mentally ill woman that started the satanic panic craze. Let's see if I can find her name, at least quickly. It would be Judy Johnson, who was the first mother to come forward in the McMartin preschool case. Judy Johnson also gets labeled like this a lot. So I'm not exactly sure who he's talking about. Those are the two that come to my mind. But either way, neither women um, have been proven to be mentally ill. So I'm not. So first of all, his premise is just wrong to begin with. And then legitimated by lawyers, activists, and journalists. No, the journalists actually mainly used these people and mocked them. Activists, I'm not quite sure exactly what he means by that. I mean, I guess somebody like myself could be considered an activist. Though I consider myself more of a researcher, muckraker. I don't know, a guy with too much time on his hands. Let's see. So yeah, I'm not even quite sure. And the lawyers were the ones that were like attacking these parents. So, okay, every bit of this is just false and retarded. Not even quite sure exactly what he's getting at. Anyways, the meat of what he's trying to say is that because these people these women in the 1980s that started the Satanic Panic movement, who are mentally ill women apparently, that same scenario, which according to this is a moral panic. It's a mass hysteria. Everyone is panicking. This example of a mass hysteria or moral panic, a witch hunt, is the exact same thing that's happening now with the Epstein craze. Or at least that's what he's trying to put forward. He said the parallels are uncanny. Yeah, if you believe that sort of thing. If you are dumb enough to believe that. Now, once again, exactly who is this person? Well, to judge an opinion, I think we need to know who it is that it's coming from. This is really important. Because it could be a good or a bad opinion, but that should be kind of dictated depending on who the person is. Do they have any legitimacy or not? Should they even be listened to? Well, let's go find out. Let's look at something, like I said, that kind of went semi-viral recently. It was a clip of Michael Tracy on a panel on Piers Morgan. Let's see, he's with Mike Benz, journalist, kind of a spooky, glowy guy. John Kiriakou. He actually went to prison for exposing the CIA torture program. I like John a lot. I would love to interview him. Michael Tracy, and then not sure who this woman is. Anyways, I'll just let the clip.
Who do you work
for itself, honestly, because it's I think it says all that needs to be said. Let's see. Let me fix the screen real quick. Okay.
Who do you work for, Michael? Because I've never met anyone in my entire life who would like, who's paying you? Who do you work for? I think a lot of people are wondering this because I've never seen anyone quite like you going after victims of sex crimes and attacking them like this. So you must be being paid by someone in power who does not like these accusations that have been made against them. And I think it's fair to ask, are you being paid by any of the men who've been accused by Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm having trouble hearing right now. I wish I could respond to whatever nonsense she just blurted out.
I'm asking you if you have.
Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient that, gets asked a very legitimate question, a very tough question, especially if you're are on a rather large show like Piers Morgan Uncensored. Ridiculous name. But if you're on this large of a show, I believe they do it live. Could be wrong. People all around the world watch it. You get asked this difficult of a question, and suddenly tech issues arise. Okay. Possible, sure. Not saying that it's not possible, but it's convenient. It's very, very convenient. So just once again, listen to her question.
Who do you work for, Michael? Because I've never met anyone in my entire life who would like, who's paying you? Who do you work for? I think a lot of people are wondering this because I've never seen anyone quite like you going after victims of sex crimes and attacking them like this. So you must be being paid by someone in power who does not like these accusations that have been made against them. And I think it's fair to ask, are you being paid by any of the men who've been accused by Jeffrey Epstein?
Are you being paid by any of the men who have been accused? Or wait, okay. Let me get this correct. I don't want to screw this up.
I think it's fair to ask, are you being paid by any of the men who've been accused by Jeffrey Epstein? Kind of a weird way to phrase that question, don't you think? Hey, glad to see you in the chat. Glad you're here. Kind of a weird way to phrase that question, but here's what I want you to do. Okay, so right here, let's see. This man, no, you can't see my mouse. Damn it. Okay, the man that just looks frightened, having tech issues, that's Michael Tracy. Right in the middle is John Kiriakou. Right to the left of him is Mike Benz. To the left of him is Piers Morgan. Like I said, I'm not quite sure who this woman is. Somebody knows, let me know. Watch the faces of John Kiriakou and Mike Benz. As soon as little Mikey Tracy, gives his answer to what is happening, or his non-answer, his obfuscation, just watch their faces. It just says everything. Epstein.
I'm having trouble hearing right now. I wish I could respond to whatever nonsense she just blurted out.
I'm asking you if you have ever been paid by any of the men who have been accused of crime.
Maybe somebody can
astonishing coincidence that you suddenly lost your hearing when you were asked a very difficult question. And rather telling, I may say.
I heard it.
Okay, I'm not saying you didn't get cut. I'm just saying.
If he can hear you, can you ask him that question? Because he can't hear me, but maybe he can hear you asking that question.
Yeah, I think it's a Michael, can you hear me?
Did you just hear me, Michael? I can hear you very faintly. Did you just allege that I'm somehow implicated in the Epstein criminality, or did I mishear you?
I asked if you were being
Tara
paid
asked
by
if you're
anyone.
Tara asked if you're being paid by anybody to smear the victims of the Epstein
rather than
scandal.
defend the merits of her.
Okay. More importantly, pay attention to John Kiriakou, because what's interesting about John, like I said, he went to prison for exposing the CIA torture program under George W. Bush. It's pretty badass, honestly. Obviously, it's wrong. It should have never happened. But the fact that he did it, and he did it with such grace, is badass. Most people would not be able to do that. John was a field agent for the CIA for many, many years. So he is very, very familiar with these techniques of reading body language. He knows the techniques of, lying. These are all things that all field agents get trained in, highly trained in. So just the fact that John laughs, I think it's great.
Trouble hearing right now. I wish I could respond to whatever nonsense she just blurted out.
I'm asking you if you have ever been paid by any of the men who have been accused of crime.
Maybe somebody can
astonishing coincidence that you suddenly lost your hearing when you were asked a very difficult question. And rather telling, I may say.
I heard it.
Okay. I'm not saying you didn't get cut. I'm just saying.
If he can hear you, can you ask him that question? Because he can't hear me, but maybe he can hear you asking that question.
Yeah. I think it's a Michael, can you hear me?
Did you
can you hear me, Michael?
I can hear you very faintly. Did you just allege that I'm somehow implicated in the Epstein criminality, or did I mishear you?
I asked you if you were being
Tara
paid
asked
by
if
anyone.
Tara asked if you're being paid by anybody to smear the victims of the Epstein
rather than
scandal.
defend the merits of her journalistic output, which she can't because it's indefensible, what does she do? She tries to impugn me personally, tries to imply or
you're not answering.
What's the answer to the question?
Of course, I'm not being paid by anyone.
I mean, I don't know. This dude, Michael Tracy, is being raked over the coals for this little segment. Now, granted, this is, a minute and 58-second clip. Let's see. Give me just a sec. I'm going to switch all of this stuff over. This is just a real pain in the ass. It's kind of making the show suffer. So let's just do this. Sorry, I know this is so interesting. What is just astounding to me is that he had such timing. Once again, possible? Yeah, sure. Likely? No. And not to mention, I mean, he could still hear Piers Morgan. He could hear him faintly. He could just hear him oh so faintly. Let's see, one more. And here we go. All right, give me just a sec to switch this over. Not sure what is going on with Brave right now. Obviously, I screwed some sort of setting up earlier when I was cleaning things up. Go figure. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's Michael Tracy. Let's go look at a couple of highlights of his. Like I said, he is being raked over the coals for this. In my opinion, honestly, either way, thank you for coming to stop by. Hey, good to know. Thank you so much for saying that. Anyways, so I personally think Michael Tracy completely deserves this. I don't know. He is kind of known for, let's see. Damn it, I have to log in. Let's see here. Definitely need to log in anyways. Just, okay, come on. Michael Tracy is kind of known for defending pedophiles, is what I was going to say. This is a very common thing that happens with him. Very common thing that he gets roasted for, which is exactly why he was being asked that question to begin with. Because once again, there's being skeptical, and then there's, whatever the hell he's doing. And whatever the hell he is doing is not helping, and it looks incredibly bad. Incredibly bad. So, this is, for lack of a better term, what triggered me today. As soon as I saw that, just because the entire premise is wrong to begin with. that all of this means that this whole Epstein craze is basically equivalent to the Satanic Panic. And that's just the most absurd fucking thing I have ever heard in my life. So, let's see. I did have... Okay. Give me just a sec. Cleaning stuff up to keep everything running smooth. I made sure to jump in and leave some comments for him. Also kind of hoping that they would get some decent reach. I actually haven't looked. But I thought this was a rather important comment. Speaking of the other JJ. How to spot a Satanist propagandist and an apologist for kid diddling. See instructional tweet below. Just thought that was perfect. Let's see. So, like I said, this is sort of what Michael Tracy is known for. Why he does this, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even exactly know what to say. How? Okay. Not everything in the Epstein files has turned out to be true. That's just a fact. However, a vast majority of everything has turned out to be true. And you could look at that and still turn around and say that any of this was based on mentally ill women. The entire craze is because journalists decided to highlight all of this and people chasing clout, I guess. Like, it's honestly frustrating, and it's so exhausting. It is so exhausting. So, let's see. This was actually the first tweet. So, McMartin had tunnels underneath it. We've covered this on the show, but for those who haven't been here, just like the children said, you're on the wrong side of this argument, Mikey. So, in fact, 30 days. Oh, what? I can't. Aha, there we go. Man, I hate this browser. This is garbage. For anyone that would like to go see a full-fledged discussion, I was actually just on investigations for ritual abuse. Go check that out. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Let me get that pulled up. In fact, 30 days before Nathan's article appeared, the tunnels were discovered beneath the preschool by scientists hired by the parents, confirming the testimony of the children. The project employed a team of archaeologists from local universities, 2 geologists, a professional excavator, a carbon dating specialist, and a professional photographer to document the dig's progress and findings. The longest tunnel was 6 feet beneath the preschool, running eastward 45 feet from the southwest wall and 10 feet along the north wall. The tunnel walls were held in place by support beams and a roof of plywood and tar paper. A branch of the tunnel led to a 9-foot chamber, quote, or the secret room described by the children, question mark. Another extended from the preschool to the triplex next door, surfacing beneath a rollaway bathtub. Forensic tests on thousands of objects found at the site, including 200 animal bones, were I've said it before, I'll say it again, that the Satanic Panic was real. All you have to do is scratch the surface, start looking at, I don't know, what we're told about any of this, and I think it's pretty damn clear. Let's see. Okay. So see if I can zoom in on any of this. This is all new to me. Completely different browser. Honestly, this sucks. Let's see. Location and exploration of the tunnel under the north axis of the preschool. The historic debris noted above formed a pattern in the sidewall of excavated soil below the foundation of the east wall of classroom number 4. Just outside the upper right-hand corner of the debris-filled matrix, which we later determined to be the tunnel, we also encountered what appeared to be a fire hearth. What the hell is a fire hearth? Let me know if you guys know what a fire hearth is. See, damn, I can't read anything. I'm so blind. Nope, it doesn't work. There we go. This feature consisted of Spanish style roof tiles, good Lord, red clay ceramic, arranged around a center core of ashes and charcoal. Radiocarbon samples had been taken from the outermost reaches of this feature and submitted to the UCLA isotope laboratory for dating. Let's see here. Oh, apparently it's a fireplace. Interesting. Let's see here. A fire hearth, by the way, fireplace. Interesting. Never heard that term before. Well, actually, I guess I have because I've read this before. Anyways, it didn't stand out to me until now. Anyways, so the radiocarbon samples had been taken from the outermost reaches of this feature and submitted to the UCLA isotope laboratory for dating. I mean, this is what people are arguing against, and the same people who claim satanic panic is fake, it's this, it's that. Sure about that? I mean, this is what you're arguing against, though. This typically is also the same crowd of, trust the science, believe the authorities. You're not an expert, so therefore we should believe this or that. Let's see, is that any better? No, not really. I said I hate this browser. This sucks. Let's see, maybe. No. Nope, not better. Anyways, let's see. So, I mean, they literally sent the samples of the dirt itself to a isotope laboratory for carbon dating. Let's see. A tunnel entrance was thus well defined by the debris and feel contained within it. Like I said, this is just so fucking frustrating. There was an identified entrance large enough for an adult human passage leading from the surface down underground. See figures 18A and 18B. This is actually the report that can be found on Ted Gunderson's site. I know, Gunderson, whatever. But, all he basically did is he took the archaeological survey that the parents put together and funded and slapped his resume on it. And for some reason, it's on his website. Trying to just fucking take credit for it. Anyways, that's where you can find this document if you want to go look at the whole thing, look at the figures, all of this stuff. It is notable that the entrance was located in the exact same area that was concentrated upon by the district attorney's archaeological excavation in 1985 due, quote, to the reports of the children of a tunnel entrance. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know exactly what to say about all of this. Now, once again, Michael Tracy. Let's see, this one. So once again, ultimately, it was shown that the Satanic Panic daycare craze of the 1980s originated with the confabulated rambles of one deluded, mentally ill woman. Once again, I think he's talking about Michelle Smith. Could be wrong. Damn it, this is so annoying. Okay, let's see here. Wikipedia. They have a very interesting article that's going to shed a little bit of light on this. Let's see. Satanic Panic Daycare Scare. That's okay. So this Wikipedia article. Okay. Damn it. Just sign in again. Come on. There's got to be a way that I can't, or I don't have to. There we go. It's a little bit better on the eyes. Okay. Damn it. Making for a messy show. Okay. Okay, so anyone that wants to go read this page, once again, I recommend wikiwand.com instead of the actual Wikipedia page itself. It's just a better layout. It's more user-friendly. It's great. All sorts of stuff. Interesting. Thank you so much for letting me know. Let's see. Page is daycare, sex abuse, hysteria. Daycare sex abuse hysteria was a moral panic that occurred primarily during the 1980s and early 1990s and featured charges against daycare providers accused of committing several forms of child abuse, including satanic ritual abuse. The collective cases are often considered a part of the Satanic Panic. A 1982 case in Kern County, California, United States, first publicized the issue of daycare sexual abuse, and the issue figured prominently in news coverage for almost a decade. The Kern County case was followed by cases elsewhere in the United States, as well as Canada, New Zealand, Brazil, and various European countries. I mean, I've actually never heard of this 82 case. At least I don't think I have. Maybe this is something we should look into. Oh, yes. We are definitely going to look into this. Anyways, before we get too sidetracked, let's see. Here are the causes, or the alleged causes. Hey, there we go. That's actually better. Update layout. There we go. Okay. So what are the causes of this alleged panic, this moral panic? After this, we're actually going to break down what is a moral panic, just to see if any of this stuff actually fits. But the causes: anxiety. That's the cause. Anxiety, people. You're panicked. You are panicked once again. Okay. Zoom. I want you guys to be able to read this. Okay. Okay, anxiety. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, many more mothers were working outside of the home, resulting in the opening of large numbers of daycare facilities. Okay, true. Anxiety and guilt due to leaving young children with strangers may have created a climate of fear and readiness to believe false accusations. That's it. They were just panicked, people. Like, come on, get the fuck out of here. This is absolutely ridiculous. And you're right, by the way, Art of the Personal Story. He did tell us the truth, some truth. Not everything, especially towards the end there. He got all weird with the UFO stuff. But yeah, he did tell us some truth. So this is why I still reference him. I mean, I downloaded all of his documents because there is some truth. In fact, I would even argue a majority, 95% or more. See, I just want to know why they didn't find any evidence of tunnels at all the first time. It's been a long time since I've read about it. Did they lie about it? So basically what happened the very first time when I think it was the prosecution or the defense attorney, sorry, when the defense ordered an excavation, an exploration. I don't know exactly what they called it, but when they went to go search for the tunnels, they did one of two things. Well, they did both things, actually, not one of two things. They did both things. In the school, they picked a random corner out of nowhere that had nothing to do with anything, and all they pulled up was some floor tiles, and they didn't even remove the glue off the tiles or off the floor. They just removed the tiles and said, nope, okay, there's nothing there. And then the other thing that they did is they slightly dug a little bit. They dug a little bit, but where they did end up digging was a property that had nothing to do with the McMartin property. It was actually the adjoining property. So like if you were looking at the building directly, it would have been to the left is where they actually dug. And they didn't dig, like really dig. They just made a small pile of dirt, said, nope, no tunnels. Nope, no tunnels. That's it. I mean, it's a joke. And honestly, I don't know how the judge allowed that to be entered into evidence. How was that entered into the record? I mean, you can go look and see what they did. I should find it and make it available to people, kind of lay it out. But yeah, they basically did nothing, said they did everything, and then just said, yep, here's proof. Yes, a Disney bag was definitely in there. There was a balloon. There was some clothing. There was animal bones. There was all sorts of things. There was all sorts of weird stuff. So, see, right now in Kansas City, there is a independent journalist put on Satanic Panic work similar to yours because he remembers. I remember too. He's gathering all of these stories that we experienced back then. Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Honestly, that makes me happy. If you think of who it is, let me know. Try and hook up with this guy. Assuming it's a guy, it might be a woman. I don't know. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. 100%. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. it was just sleight of hand, misdirection. Basically, they did the bare minimum to look like they were doing something. But now, okay, to say that a bunch of women entering the workplace in the 70s and 80s had no negative repercussions, such as this. See, this is a red herring. Would it be a red herring fallacy? I'm not sure. I'm out of practice with my fallacies. Anxiety and guilt due to leaving your children with strangers. Yeah, I bet that was part of it, but it was probably anxiety and guilt due to the fact that their kids got molested, not because they were just leaving them with strangers. It was guilt due to having to go and, be part of the workforce because, okay, I was thinking about this earlier. This actually brings me to my, something I wanted to bring up. We have tried now for, actually, I guess 59 years, 60 years of what the hippies wanted, of what the flower children wanted. They're the ones that ended up taking over. They're the ones that got their way at the end of the day here, culturally speaking. This is why that time period back in the 60s, mid to late 60s, early 70s is so kind of glorified because, well, the people writing the history books now were the hippies. So we tried their way and it fucking failed. It fucking failed. Everything's worse now. Everything sucks. The hippies are terrible. But honestly, women fought to get into the workspace like a man. So it's not just having the ability to have a job, which women always had jobs. That's such an absurd belief. Oh, women didn't have jobs. Get the fuck out of here. Yes, they did. But okay, fine. Women in the workplace, they fought for that, but they wanted women in the workplace like men. Sorry, women aren't men. Men aren't women. Can't be treated the same. Should be treated equally under the law. But I'm not about to treat my wife I'm not about to treat any woman like I do my guy friends. I'm just not. I won't. There is a caveat, but for the sake of the show. So sure, this was part of it, anxiety. But there was anxiety about the time because there was also the economy that fucking sucked. There was Cold War still going on. There was tons of nuclear testing still. There was lots of things to be anxious about. There's the farm crisis that happened in the late 70s, early 80s. There's war breaking out around the world. Terrorism, there's always something to be anxious about. So this is kind of a bullshit excuse that this was part of it, in my opinion. Those feminists were and are the biggest traitors to humanity ever. I agree. And some of the largest Satanists, honestly. We can't have it all. We don't need to have it all. And they can take the right to vote back too. I agree. The biggest reason I believe that women shouldn't vote, this is a hot take here, voting is a proxy for going to war. It's either you go to war or you vote. That's it. Now, I think women should have a say in their own households, which, they're going to if they have a good marriage. So therefore, the vote is going to be influenced by the woman anyways. But men go to war. Men are the ones that die. Women are the ones that stay home. That's what it was initially. I highly recommend anyone go back and read the anti-suffragette literature. Anything from the anti-suffragettes. And it makes so much sense. There was more women fighting for not voting because of all of the responsibility that would come along with it. Makes sense. And like I said, we've tried it. We've tried the other way. We've tried it and it's failed. Everything is so much worse now. So I'm not saying that like we should just like go back to the 20s or whatever and everything's going to be fine. Obviously that's stupid, but we've got to pick a point somewhere along the timeline and go back to that, because we've got to reset what we're fucking doing, because it's not working. It is not working. Okay. Suggestibility of children. This is so insulting. Children are vulnerable to outside influences that can result in fabrication of testimony. Their testimony can be influenced in a variety of ways. In an article published by the American Psychological Association, who gives a shit, entitled Jeopardy in the Courtroom, a scientific analysis of children's testimony. Ooh, I bet that's a great read, by Maggie Bruck. Let's see, a professor within the Division of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Oh, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. You mean the same John Hopkins that did unethical MK Ultra testing? That John Hopkins? Just curious. Let's look that up real quick. John Hopkins, MK Ultra. Let's just see what pops up. Okay, CIA informs Hopkins of possible link to test. Oh, yeah, possible link. Okay, let's see. This is an article from... Okay, well, it was approved for release in 2005, but when was the date of the article? 77. So August 19th, 1977. It's from the Baltimore Sun. CIA informs John Hopkins of possible link to tests. Oh, hey, by the way, some of the doctors doing tests at your, world-renowned hospital, yeah, we're paid by us to torture people. Just a heads up. Get the fuck out of here with this. Like this. Okay, once again, for anyone who hasn't heard me talk about this in a minute, the very, very first episode I ever did on this show, the very first podcast episode I ever recorded, was called Control the Words, Control the Mind. I need to redo it. I really should redo it. This is all just controlling language, which controls the outcome in which people see certain things, which is why I'm going through all this painstaking, honestly frustrating language and like authoritative sources, revealing exactly what they say and why it's wrong, because it's so important for people to understand that the language is exactly why people think that this stuff didn't happen. It's just hiding right under our noses. And so once again, control the language, control the mind. Let's see here. Documents reveal just how crazy the CIA's MK Ultra mind control program really was. Let's see, Daily Caller. Okay. CIA behavior control experiments focus on new scholarly collection. Of course they do. Inspector General, use of LSD, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can... let's see, Hopkins. No matches. Okay, so this whole thing isn't gonna... Okay. I don't know anything about this. Okay. Little trick. While you're searching things, anything you want specific results on, put in parentheses, and it will search specifically. Look, so John Hopkins, let's see, Medical Center. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it works perfect. Let's see. 80 institutions used in CIA. Damn it, I need to stop doing that. I'm trying to think and focus at the same time, and I make those weird little noises with my mouth. Need to stop. Stop it. Where is the full article? Oh, I guess it's here. Okay. August 3rd, what year? 77. So this would have been after the church committee hearings, which it was basically just, it was to placate people. I mean, the fact that we know about MK Ultra at all is a complete accident. And the very fact, like, the fact that we know about it is an accident. But because we knew about it, because it was reported on, they tried to get in front of it and tried to control the information. Once again, control the language, control the mind. Operation Mockingbird purchased stories and strategically placed journalists that would write stories or report on certain things and not other things, were able to control the narrative and make it seem like this church committee hearing was actually doing something. And they did some things, but they had to do something because they had to get in front of what was being discovered, because they needed to rein it back in and be able to control what the public knew, what the public was going to find out in the future. Because once again, I mean, that was like the biggest blunder. This is the only time in my knowledge that I know that the government screwed up that bad. It's the only time I'm aware of. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't know any of this stuff, because there's no way this would have ever been admitted to. See, I never even thought about doing that. I just know inherently now they're bitches and they're wrong, and damn it, they fucked it all up. Yeah, I agree completely. And once again, we tried their way. We tried. Oh boy, howdy. I'm so glad that you're a fan of this channel, because there is going to be some extremely anti-feminist, satanic panic coverage in the future. I'm working my way through a book. It's a scholarly book over, I think it's like over 1,200 pages, of why feminism is satanic. Not to mention, we will be covering Rachel Wilson's book about feminism as well at some point. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of anti-feminist stuff on this channel, because I'm going to make the case for it. I'm not just going to say, oh, feminists suck. I'm actually going to back it up with stuff. So yeah, you're in the right place. See, I've reported Woody Allen to New York Child Protective Services about the two little girls him and his stepdaughter adopted. I'll let you know what's happening with the results. Dude, that's good for you. Good for you. And yes, please let us know. I am very curious. Let's see, these witches make me more mad than Epstein does. I agree, honestly, because these literal witches, I mean, they're unknowingly, honestly, because most of them are so dumb they can't even see exactly what they're being used for. But these witches literally fly like under the radar. People don't even put much thought into a lot of these people. Honestly, that's why I like the Whatever Show. The Whatever Show exposes exactly how absurd the modern, I guess, Instagram brain, TikTok brain female is. And man, men need to stand up and do something about this, because holy hell. Anyways, back to where we are at. So let's see. Stanfield Turner, the director of Central Intelligence, testified today that the CIA had secretly supported human behavior control research at 80 institutions, including 44 colleges and universities, as well as hospitals, prisons, and pharmaceutical companies. Something that has never changed. Human behavior control research. Of which, mind you, I've been digging the Epstein files, and there is some of that as well. I've been taking my own personal angle at the Epstein files and have found some interesting mind control, behavior modification stuff that I will be talking about at a later date. I just don't have the time right now. But let's see. So, yeah, human behavior control research is the most terrifying phrase I think I've ever heard. 80 institutions, 44 colleges or universities, as well as hospitals, prisons, and pharmaceutical companies. Okay, so hospitals and prisons, that means it was involuntary. Pharmaceutical companies, at the very least, they most likely got paid for it because they were probably, free trials, although they've been known to do unethical testing as well, not only on humans, but animals. So let's see. So the Committee on Intelligence and Senate Health Subcommittee that recently discovered financial records indicate that during the most intense period of the project, codenamed MKUltra, the agency had supported 185 non-government researchers in 149 separate research projects. He said that the main action years of MKUltra were from 1953 through 1963. The projects, he said, had included tests of LSD and a K or knockout drop. It's a load of bullshit. It was still going on in 77. Let's see. I don't care about their comments. 8,000 documents, or 8,000 pages of documents. Let's see. The following new details of the CIA's behavior control experiments emerged at today's hearing. Admiral Turner acknowledged under questioning that the CIA had apparently planned to test drugs on terminal cancer patients at the same institution where it secretly contributed $375,000 back in, the 50s or 60s, toward the construction of a hospital building. The New York Times has independently confirmed the institution is Georgetown University Medical School. So the CIA was planning, and we all know that they did this. The CIA apparently planned to test drugs on terminal cancer patients. They did it. In fact, they got busted injecting radioactive material into terminal cancer patients just to see what the fuck it would do. Oh man. That's what we know about also. Imagine the things we don't know about. So in this same institution where they were doing this to terminal cancer patients, at the same institution where it secretly contributed $375,000, like I said, back in 1960, imagine how much that is. That's at least 3 times what it would be today. So they were constructing a hospital building at Georgetown University Medical School. That's so terrifying. Admiral Turner said that some unwitting testing took place on criminal sexual psychopaths confined at a state hospital. Oh, it's almost like Dave McGowan had it right. Admiral Turner said that some unwitting testing took place on criminal sexual psychopaths confined at a state hospital. And then just a few years later, all of a sudden, America has an explosion in serial killers. Imagine that. What odd timing. What odd timing. Coincidence, I'm sure. I am sure. Though I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Active years for MK Ultra were 53 to 63. That's a little bullshit. It was, first of all, the official dates are 53 to 74, right before the committee hearings. But 53 to 63, okay, this is what they're doing. So 53 to 63 was the height of the drug testing. That's it. But this is what they did with MK Ultra, is they tried to make it seem as though it was only about the drug testing, not about all the other mind control experiments. However, drug testing, the LSD, the BX, the nerve agents, I mean, they tested Adderall, they tested nicotine, caffeine, they tested everything. There's over 170 something chemicals that they tested, and like another 200 that they invented. So most of the people that they tested ended up dying or having lifelong health problems. Some of them still alive today, unfortunately, because they're dealing with such hell. The government won't even acknowledge that they are alive. So yeah, 53 to 63 was the height of the chemical and drug testing, not the height of MK Ultra. But this is, once again, control the language, control the mind, right? So everyone thinks, oh, by 63, it was over. The CIA was done. Yeah, whatever. Internal inquiry to determine what its role may have been in all projects coordinated with the Department of the Army, codenamed often Chickwit, MK Chickwit. That was active until 1973. That was one of them. There's also MK Delta. There's MK Often. I mean, there's tons of MK projects. But I'm actually kind of surprised that they even brought up Chickwit. That's kind of surprising for the New York Times. But hey, I guess they did do somewhat good journalism back in the day. That's incredible, though. But the CIA is conducting an internal inquiry. Well, during the 80s, they determined that they had no involvement in the crack epidemic that ended up hitting, Compton, or all of LA, and then the rest of the Black community, mainly, some of the white community. So they investigated themselves, determined they had no role in drug smuggling out of Mena, Arkansas, or any of the other places they brought into the United States, such as Seattle, up through Mexico, down into Florida. They never imported drugs ever into this country because they said so. They investigated themselves. The involvement with Georgetown University Hospital, which served many of Washington's most powerful figures and treated the son of the Senate Health Subcommittee Chairman, Edward M. Kennedy, for cancer, was the most illustrative of how the CIA operated. The agency was seeking an institution where its own personnel could test a wide range of drugs, including a knockout pill. Yeah, I think they came up with that too, if I remember right. Let's see, 1955, the agency authorized so in 55, they authorized $375,000 towards the construction of the Gorman Building at the university through a covert medical fund. I'm not even Gestichter Foundation for Medical Research. Wonder what those guys are up to. Paste and search. Though Admiral Turner never mentioned Georgetown by name, he said there was no indication that the unnamed university officials knew about the agency's involvement. And that's a common thing they say about all of this stuff is they didn't know where the funding was coming from. And then they secretly turn around and say, well, some of them did, but you're not going to find out who. What up? Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. Why is there so many feminazis that sympathize with kitty fiddlers. Kitty fiddlers. I like that. Pedophile sympathizers are pedophiles themselves. I mean, whether they are or are not actually pedophiles, I think they are just as guilty, 100%. So, and I have no idea why they want to defend these people so bad. I mean, we see it with all the ICE stuff a lot, and I'm not justifying ICE by any means, but some of the people they are going after are people that cause harm in the streets, cause harm to children. This is definitely not the way I would attack that problem. However, you know, saying you shouldn't take these people out of the country, come on. Really? You're going to defend these people? But they're all families. They're all families. Get the fuck out of here. No, they're not. Some of these people are genuinely shitty, terrible people that have no business being here. Planned Parenthood is a satanic female death cult. 100%. Abortion is a satanic ritual. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The kingdoms of the world are the kingdoms of Satan. We live in a dark world. We do. We do. And I was thinking about this. Things are going to get darker because I think right now what is happening, normally I don't get religious on the show, but I think whatever God you believe in, whatever higher power is honestly driving this, I think that there's something happening where the ultimate good force, God, in my opinion, call it whatever you want, is the one actually exposing this. Now, what's interesting is that this is not new. The Epstein stuff isn't new. The Satanic Panic stuff is not new. None of this is new. This is old world shit. This is old world sacrifices. This is old world blood magic, Kabbalah magic. This is not new. But it's being revealed once again. And a lot of people are not going to be able to handle that information in any form of a healthy manner. But what that does is it frees us from being bound in this sort of mind-controlled, curious about what every celebrity thinks or what they're up to, who they're married to, what these suits, these politicians are going to do for us. Like, we have an opportunity. If humanity behaves as the most mature version of itself, at least the best of us, if the best of us act as the most mature versions of ourselves, we have a chance to literally start a peaceful revolution by just refusing to interact with these people, refusing to, patron their institutions anymore, listen to them at all. We have an opportunity to just embrace functioning as a society in the way that it should. So, the ultimate good can come out of this if people keep this shit in perspective. Another thing I hope we're able to do here is to keep this all in perspective. Because yes, it is good to know about all of this stuff, but it's more important to realize we need to do something about it. And the best thing that we can do is live the best life possible and become independent as possible. They want us dependent on their system. They need us to be surveilled. They need us using their money. They need us buying their products. They need us taking their pharmaceuticals. They need all of this stuff. This is what they need from us. Otherwise, they don't have the power, and we don't have to. We don't have to give it to them. So, ultimate good can come out of this. They're God killers. They think if they destroy a child, they destroy God. That's the way they think, bro. It's biblical. It is 100%. I think it's interesting also because Satan can't do anything to God. He knows that. He wants people to believe that he can, but Satan is the created, and Satan was also created by the creator. The creator is far more terrifying to me than the created. That's not to say that these aren't horrific things that we shouldn't be, scared somewhat in retrospect, but yeah, why be scared of the created instead of the creator, the person that actually has the power? I think this is a great point. The thing is if I were not a Christian from birth, I would be by now fully praising Jesus because I'm a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're not moving back towards Christianity, and I get it, some people are still skeptical. I do pray for those people though. To look at our world and see the evil that is being exposed and still think that a God does not exist is a hard thing for me to wrap my head around, because that's actually what sent me back to Christ, was the realization of exactly, well, the existence of pure evil. The existence of pure evil means that there's an equal and opposite reaction, which means there's ultimate good. So no matter how you want to look at it, God has to exist if evil exists. That's just the way that it is. Call it whatever you want, bad, good, black, white, whatever. That doesn't really matter. It's all the same thing, but it is the same forces. And they're so much bigger than we are. Like we're parts, we're fragments of all of it. That is the one thing that the occultists do get right, is that we are fragments of God. Let's see. Yes, 100%. 100%. Definitely need to get it together. I think it's happening as long as we can prevent people from participating in a violent revolution, because guess what? They know how to respond to that. They know how to respond to that. So we cannot answer this stuff in violence. Well, okay, I will say there is such thing as justified violence. There is justified revolution. There's justified rebellion. However, like the way that it would have to go is so tactful. Tactful. I believe that's a word. That I don't know if Americans are ready to be able to, or disciplined enough to be able to behave that way. But they know how to respond to violence is the problem. Which is why I think they kill everyone that preaches peace. 100% help is on the way, bro. It's us. Yes. Couldn't agree with that statement anymore. Use your social media platforms to keep talking about this stuff no matter what. Exactly. Which, even though I'm shadow banned everywhere, I still keep having these. So once again, thank you all for being here. Because whether I'm speaking to honestly nobody, I will be here doing this show. And I will get it out to as many people as possible. So, but I do appreciate the more people that are here. So once again, thank you. Make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Also, if you're using this on your phone, there's that new feature to hype a video. If you got that on mine, yeah, please hype away. Let's see. Satan is just a whiny baby. just like his followers. Yeah, they really are. They really, really are. All right, let's get back to this real quick. We're almost done with this. Let's see. Okay, well, the point of looking at this was to kind of point out their involvement in these medical facilities. We will be doing more shows about MK Ultra because I kind of want to shift gears. It's going to be staying in the same like lane of stuff, but I need to take a break from the Satanism stuff, just a brief moment, but it's all related. So it will be related back. I want to build up some more things to talk about as far as the Satanism stuff. And I've got some awesome stuff planned, but needs to be fleshed out. So I've got to do some other shows about other topics in order to be able to get caught up with all of the stuff to talk about, keep this all moving forward. Anyways, so let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, we are going to look at that eventually. This case sounds very interesting. Anyway, so once again, so one of the reasons why the daycare sex abuse, how did they put it? Sex abuse hysteria. You're hysterical. You're panicking. One of the reasons, anxiety, suggestibility of children. And this woman, Maggie Bruck, whoever the hell she is, we're just supposed to take her word for it. You know, like, okay, Maggie Bruck, who the fuck are you? And why should I care? Well, oh, she's still at Johns Hopkins. That's scary. Okay. What the fuck is this website? So pure.johnhopkins.edu. So she's a teacher, I guess. Commentary, children's memory of their personal experiences. I love how it's a profile that does not have a picture. So she's a professor emerita, School of Medicine. Research activity per year. So, I mean, she goes back 74. Let's see. Or wait, let's see. 97. I guess 74 was the start of this particular School of Medicine. So 97, 93, all the way through the 90s, early 2000s, 2009, 11, 14, 15, 16, and then 2020 and 2021. Okay. Research, 72 articles, 6 chapters, 5 review articles, and 1 forward postscript. Okay. Commentary, children's memory and their personal experiences, analyzing the scientific foundation of child sex abuse, accommodation syndrome. What the fuck? Foundation of child sexual abuse accommodation syndrome. What the hell is that? Put a pin in that for later. Children's reports of body touching in medical examinations, the benefits and risks of using body diagrams. Weird research. Children's testimony, a scientific framework for evaluating the reliability of children's statements. There we go. That's the one they reference in that Wikipedia article. Okay, the abstract. And this is all we'll read and we'll move on. But this chapter focuses on the reliability of children's autobiographical memory. We do this by first outlining the basic elements of suggestive interviews and elucidating some basic scientific principles to be used as guides when evaluating reliability or taint nothing in interviews with children who claim to have been participants or observed of an event. Then we apply this scientific foundation to evaluating the reliability of a child's statements of sexual abuse that arose during a divorce/custody case. Okay, I see what they're doing here. Clever, but not clever enough. So just to kind of explain this, I go in depth explaining this entire thing. I didn't realize that this was being cut off from you, fine people. Okay, there's the abstract that I just read. Okay, so in part 6 of my false memory syndrome foundation thread on X, I break down exactly why something like this has no implication in child sexual abuse cases. Now, what they're doing is they're testing whether to see if a child's memory is reliable or not. Okay, that seems like a worthy vein of research, right? But then what they do is they apply those non-abuse, the non-abuse research to the outcomes of abuse research. See what they're doing? They're using non-abuse research to make the conclusion about sexual abuse. They're saying, well, because this happened this way, because we had a controlled environment and we set up this, we used the scientific method and everything was great and it's all peer reviewed and everything's sterile and perfect. Because we did that, then the same results apply to children that experience sexual abuse. This is what we call junk science. That is the technical term. Junk science is science that was bought and paid for, or that has a political motive. That's exactly what this is. Young children's ability to use 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional symbols to show placements of body touches and hidden objects. What the fuck? This is incredibly disturbing. Some of this other research that she's doing. Let's see. I will actually, probably a good idea. All of these things, all of these links, I will go and post over to my Telegram. So if you want any of these sources, head on over to my Telegram channel. You can find that in the master link. You go to allmylinks.com/rise to liberty, and you can find the link to the Telegram. If you don't have a Telegram account, I highly recommend it because, like I said, this is where all the sources will be. It's just a lot easier to do this instead of pasting all of them in the episode description. Some of them will be in the episode description, but if you want all of them, like these ones right here, head on over to Telegram. Okay. 80 institutions. Once again, control the language, control the mind. So let's get on over. Okay, so they are being posted over on Telegram as we speak. See, make sure this is over there. Okay, so Maggie Bruck, she's basically a charlatan, a liar, a weird researcher, and apparently she's teaching medical students. That should just send a shiver down everyone's spine. A professor within the Division of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. The longer that things go on, the less I believe in psychiatry. It's almost like a quack science at this point. Like they just make shit up as they go. Or like the problem I guess I have with psychiatry is that they do these studies and they say, yep, that's just how it is. You can't question that. But that's like all of academia. Let's see. So psychiatry at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. So she wrote that children incorporate aspect of the interviewer's questions into their answers as an attempt to tell the interviewer what the child believes is being sought. Yes, but what's being left out of this is the fact that this study was done in a non-abuse setting. So this the non-abuse results has nothing to do with how children behave or what they do if they experience sexual abuse. Like that's something entirely different. Let's see. Notes. Okay. Damn it, which one was that? Number 6. So there's a little trick in how they do this. Like I said, the American Psycho, what the fuck? Okay, so apparently they don't even link to the correct let's see, Jeopardy in the courtroom. What the hell is this? Let's see. Okay, I'm not on the screen. Just making sure. Got to log in once again over to archive.org. Let's see. Archive. Oops. Email. Wait. Okay. Okay, there we go. We're up and loaded. Okay, Jeopardy in the courtroom, a scientific analysis of children's testimony. Okay, so this is 7 case descriptions, assessing the scope and characteristics of child sexual abuse, defining memory and suggestibility, legal and behavioral approaches of to children's suggestibility. Gonna have to look into this later. Let's see. And okay, well, there's that. So the children in a normal, unstressed, unabused, like I said, unstressed, unabused, completely normal, probably somewhat fun environment. At least they would have to be somewhat fun. Otherwise, they're not going to get the kids to interact with any of this. At the very least, not scared environment. Wrote that children incorporate aspects of the interviewer's questions into their answers. I assume if they're not talking about something that scares them or upsets them, as an attempt to tell the interviewer what the child believes is being sought. I do not doubt that that's what this woman's research says. I have no doubt. But I call into question the validity of the science to begin with. If you have enough money, you can make science say anything. Look at the American Heart Association and the results of any of the sugar studies or the corn syrup studies. I don't know, shortening versus animal fat. Like any of the, of course, the largest scientific scandal, the smoking trials in the 50s and 60s, when it was starting to come out that smoking was actually really, really bad for you. You know, this is all junk science. This was all science that was paid for with a political bent on it. And that's exactly what this is, because what's interesting about children, when they experience something that they know is shameful, they don't want to talk about it. Imagine that. They don't want to fucking talk about it. And in fact, it's actually been proven. If you want to look at some good science, there's some science out of Switzerland and Sweden Finland, I believe, Germany, UK. There is some good science from the US about all of this. You just got to look for it. It's not that hard. But when children experience something that they know is wrong, they downplay it. They don't make it up. Children's imaginations are unable to imagine the level of the horrific abuse that they described. How is it that these children are able to describe things that even adults are unaware of? I mean, there's sexual acts that take place between these kids and alleged authority figures, such as Raymond Bucky at the McMartin preschool, a authority figure, a man also working with children, or, Epstein, and any of this, Les Wexner, Bill Gates, anybody. The name doesn't really matter, but when abuse is taking place, particularly sexual abuse, ritual abuse, even satanic ritual abuse, children intuitively know that it's wrong and they don't want to talk about it, so they downplay it. So getting them to actually admit the full extent of the abuse is the difficult part. But none of this accounts for how they are able to describe extreme abuse. None of it makes sense at all. They should not know the details of any of these actions at all. They didn't come up with this. They didn't imagine it. So what's the other explanation? Well, the easy one is that they experienced it. I mean, I don't understand why that's so hard for some people to just be like, yes, this is real. This happens. Okay. In fact, I have prepared something specifically for that topic. So, anyways, we're going to hurry and get through some of this. Let's see. Make sure and post this in the Telegram, right? Yep. Okay. So this is in the Telegram. Anyways, if you want to keep reading about all of this, let's keep moving through some of the causes. Oh, okay. So that's the only 2 causes, apparently. Suggestibility of children and anxiety. That's it. That's the only reason why this happened. God, that was anticlimactic. See, timeline. Okay. Kern County child abuse cases. Yep, we will be addressing that at some point. McMartin, I'm working on stuff for that. Fells Acres Day School in Massachusetts. Okay, I do know of that one. I'm not familiar. Bronx 5 case. Let's see. We Care Nursery School in New Jersey in April of 1985. That one's going to take a minute. That one is, there's not a whole lot of information, but what is there is incredibly disturbing. Of course, Child Development Center, Presidio of San Francisco, Michael Aquino involved in that one. Cleveland child abuse scandal in England. Oh, and there's so much more, like the Elm Guest House and all sorts of other things. Friedman cases begin. The Army announces it will be closing and demolishing the Presidio Child Development Center. They conveniently leave out that the Presidio Daycare Center Child Development Center was actually burned down, which is why they had to demolish it. It was arson. Both buildings both fires that took place at both buildings for the Child Development Center, both of them were burnt down. It was determined to be arson. And there was never an explanation. They just stopped investigating after that. So it's not like they were just like, we're going to close and demolish, just move on. There's a reason why they did that. Let's see. Baptist minister and Presidio teacher Gary Hambright is charged with sexually abusing 10 boys and girls. That was the start of it. Hambright was charged with molesting only 10 children because other victims were so young they would not be allowed to testify in court. No, that actually wasn't why. One of the reasons is because the children were forbidden by the court to actually do any of the testing that would be required for them to qualify as a victim to be able to join this. Like there was a bunch of STD testing that was done on these kids, just like at McMartin, and tons of these kids at the Presidio came down with STDs, which try and explain that. At least 4 children were found to have chlamydia during physical examinations. Yeah, 4 out of 10. Pretty fucking bad. I wonder why they stopped, allowing other kids to get tested. Let's see. This one, the Glendale Montessori sexual abuse case in Stuart, Florida. That's going to be an important one. We'll address at some point. Acquittals in McMartin school trial. Remaining charges dropped. Such a fucking shame. Okay. Significant cases. Let's see. Nearly all of those accused in these cases were eventually freed, but no U.S. governor has pardoned a prisoner convicted falsely as a result of the hysteria. Kind of an interesting point to be made right there. Nearly all of those accused in these cases were eventually freed. Okay. But no U.S. governor has pardoned a prisoner convicted falsely as a result of the hysteria. I wonder why that is. I wonder. Gotta be a coincidence, right? You're only panicking. Stop asking questions. See, on January 14th, 1997, many of those freed attended a day of contrition? Yeah, contrition conference in Salem, Massachusetts. Look, we know like you got locked up for satanic ritual abuse. So you're all free to go. Hey everybody, let's gather in Salem. This stuff is so fucking laughable. How the fuck does anyone believe this? This is insane. I mean, I know I'm like really desensitized to this stuff, but holy fuck. This couldn't be more it just couldn't be more blatant and obvious. This is the most insane thing I've ever read. So once again, to go back to what started this, let's see. Damn it. Okay, so ultimately it was shown that the satanic panic daycare craze of the 1980s originated with the confabulated rambles of one deluded, mentally ill woman who was then bizarrely legitimated. I swear that is not a fucking word. Legitimated? Mated? I don't know. Anyways, by lawyers, activists, and journalists. Sorry. Okay. That's just fucking crazy. Let's see. Martinsville. Let's see. Documentaries. Interesting. Capturing the Freedmans. A controversial 2003 documentary. Freeing Bernie Baran. I don't know. 2010 documentary on one of the earliest cases. Interesting. Indictment, the McMartin trial. 1995 HBO docudrama. Witch Hunt. 2008 documentary produced and narrated by Sean Penn. Fuck you, dude. About the Kern County child abuse cases. Okay. Further reading. There's all that. Anyways, this is posted in the... Let's see. This is posted in the Rise to Liberty Telegram channel. So, let's see here. Once again, I don't understand how this stuff is not. How is this believed? I don't understand. Let's see. There was an identifiable entrance large enough for an adult human passage leading from the surface down underground. It is notable that the entrance was located in the exact area that was concentrated upon the district attorney's archaeological excavation in 1985 due, quote, to the reports of the children of the tunnel entrance and or buried room. The excavation failed to locate the entrance and probably destroyed its outermost signature. This same area, though, our own research was also identified by some of the children as one entrance to the tunnels. So it looks as though that they destroyed one tunnel entrance and the other one, or the one that was confirmed by child testimony. Isn't that interesting? Because what's interesting about this, that the kids were right. What's funny is kids just don't lie. Not about this. Kids lie if they're going to be in trouble. Kids lie if they're, taught that that's how you handle things. Kids don't lie about this stuff. They really don't. I mean, here's the overwhelming reality is that their children shouldn't. Why the hell would all these kids say that tunnels exist and that like they're experiencing all of this? Oh, they saw a horror movie and now it's influenced them. Okay. It's like, do you know anything about child development? Like, obviously I'm an armchair doctor, armchair psychiatrist, all of this, but what the fuck? This is not rocket science. Let's see. He's claiming they will use the same old playbook that worked last time. Well, let's make a comment to this. He's claiming that is what is happening. He's claiming the satanic panic. Ooh. Actually was a moral panic. It wasn't. And the same thing is happening with Epstein. Also, not a moral panic. Come on. It's a fucking mouse. Some of these people are just so fucking dumb. I swear, you should be able to have to pass an IQ test to create a social media account. Or maybe just certain ones. Let's see. So once again, no tunnels found at McMartin. They were, though. The tunnels were real. And so was the testimony of all 460 plus children, teenagers, and young adults who came forward to expose satanic ritual abuse. Okay, so first of all, there's the tunnels. There's the tunnels. Here's a video of the tunnels.
Okay. Down here. There's stuff on the other side. Oh, okay. What am I doing with this fork?
You wanted to ask if it's good.
Isn't it time for lunch?
Oh, gee, I had lunch. Throw it back. What were you going to say? What did this?
There. Up high, like it was stuck up underneath the concrete.
Okay.
Right under your authority.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's about 2 feet from the foundation.
Oh, 2 feet from the cement slab.
Yeah.
2 feet below.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's about. Okay, I'll tell you how this is.
2 feet, that was getting rocks and
Is this linoleum or what that I'm writing on here? What is it?
labels sometimes. We don't know. That's why we give you, you can read.
R-I-N. Oh, look, there's some more up here. Shoes. Shoes? You see shoes over there?
Oh, I see.
Showing up inside.
Something interesting. Damien Eccles actually got kicked out of Salem. So I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Yeah, Eccles bought a home in Salem once. He didn't get out. He got kicked out of the city. I don't know. I want to know what the story is there, but whatever the fuck he was doing, he pissed off all the witches, all the warlocks, and he could not be a part of them anymore. So, I mean, like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's actually closer to 500, the exact count, but it's because there are 2 other institutions that were tied to McMartin and 1 babysitting service that was also tied to McMartin. So there was like some extra stragglers, but yeah, there was literally 460 plus children, teenagers, and adults. Some or young adults, like, you know, early or 18, 19, 20 years old, that had gone to the facility when they were little children. So you're telling me all of them lied? Okay, fine. You're telling me all of the teenagers lie? Okay, fine. But you're telling me all of these little children, which was the vast majority of them, lied. I'm just not buying that over 400 fucking kids, teenagers, and young adults lied about it. It's impossible. It's fantastical.
Nice.
It doesn't happen.
Oh, no, shirt. S-U-Z.
Oh, and here's more tunnels.
Building because the neighbor was not cooperating.
Oh, doesn't that look familiar? Interesting.
And then we have an opening over here off the west end of classroom 4. That was Ray Bucky's classroom. And underneath it, we're finding a...
Interesting. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but apparently classroom 4 was Ray Bucky's classroom. That I did not know. Interesting. I have learned something new every single time I've watched this.
The cavity, an excavated area. And it's full of debris, and we're still going. We're still following that out. Boards, various kinds of historic artifacts underneath the building, and then backfill.
That could be a number of things, couldn't it? Plumbing, sewer.
No, a plumber's not going to backfill.
See, what they're talking about in the background, I'm not sure if you guys can hear that clearly or not, but somebody is asking, because these tunnels that they discovered were backfilled. So they were filled up as if they were trying to destroy evidence. So when they found the tunnels, they excavated them, they pulled out all the dirt to expose the tunnels. So this person is asking, whoever it is asking, isn't there an innocent explanation? Wouldn't, some utility worker like a plumber backfill it? Well, the problem is that there's all the stuff in the dirt they found, the animal bones, the clothing, the backpacks, all the jars, like a bunch of weird metal stuff. There was like broken chunks of wood. There was all sorts of stuff that they found in the dirt itself. Also, the dirt itself was found to have come from a different location than the native dirt that the building was built upon. So where the fuck did the dirt come from? Why did it have all of this stuff mixed into it? And why was it there to begin with?
Plumbing opening with little bottles and all sorts of cold things went.
God, God, look at how thick that slab of concrete is. That's insane. That is far too much for any normal building.
So
I thought there weren't tunnels. But that looks like a fucking tunnel to me. That looks like a fucking tunnel to me. I mean, I really don't know what more people want. I really don't. At this point, I pretty much agree that anyone who is denying this stuff at this point is just as bad as anyone that's actually guilty of these crimes. Feel free to check out these links on Telegram. Let's see, close this up. We'll get to that video in just a sec. Gonna break down a moral panic real quick. Gonna watch that video and get out of here. It's getting late. Started late. Once again, I apologize for that. It's just kind of how things worked out today. But I was going to do the show no matter what. Let's see, paste that. Okay, I'll wait to close that because I want to watch that video probably to close out because it's just so great. Just too good. Too good. Michael Tracy's post started the whole thing. And what's crazy, if you go through Michael Tracy's post, the one that started all of this nonsense, there's so many people in there that, well, for one, don't believe it, but there's also just as many people that do still believe this stuff, which is crazy to me. Actually, this is only 1 minute and 30 seconds, so let's just go ahead and watch this real quick. This is Robert David Steele, former CIA field agent. I'm not sure exactly what he did, but this was a clip from a interview he did in 2017. It's incredibly interesting.
My final comment. The center of gravity for taking down the deep state. Pedophilia is both the induction glue. Pedophilia is how the deep state recruits and controls people. It is also the Achilles heel of the deep state. I believe that once the public realizes that the government is not protecting their children at a scale of vulnerability that we can articulate, then everything else about the government is called into question. All right? So for me, this is a truly righteous endeavor. And I will end by saying that as much good as it might do to get the British angry, for me, the center of gravity for change is the American public. Because if you can get the American public angry, we will stop supporting dictators overseas. We will close all of our military bases overseas. I am on record as a former...
Oops. What the hell? Don't know what happened there. Hold on. Give me a sec. That was fucking weird. Here we go. And audio. Let's see. There we go.
Bases overseas are not there for national defense. They're there to serve as lily pads for the smuggling of guns, gold, cash, drugs, and small children. So let me say I am proud to be in your company, and I believe that no matter what we do or do not do, it is going to make a difference. God bless you.
And there we go. It's amazing. It's amazing that some people still get this and others don't. I just don't know why people would want to defend pedophiles. Doesn't make sense to me. There we go. Let's see. Put this in the chat. Okay. There we go. All right, close that out. Let's switch over to what a moral panic is real quick. I think we will be done for this evening. Here we go. Okay, so let's see. How can I adjust that? Okay, that looks good. I think we can zoom in. Yes, we can. Look at that. Okay, moral panics. Okay, key terms, moral panics. What is exactly a moral panic? At least by this flow chart. An exaggerated outburst of public concern over the morality or behavior of a group in society. Okay. So based upon that definition, that tells me we can have ethical and justifiable moral panics, because we are dealing with morality after all. Key terms, deviancy amplification, where deviance increases in response to media exaggeration. Well, I don't think that it's the media that does it. Maybe back in the day, I guess. Now it's more each other because of social media. Okay, yeah. Response to media exaggeration. Although exaggeration is a very strong word, doing a lot of lifting in that statement. The subjects of a moral panic or folk devils. That's just absurd. Contemporary criticisms of moral panic theory assumes a passive audience, while new media means audiences are more active. Okay. Thornton, 1995, found that the media failed to generate a moral panic over rave culture in the 1990s due to shifting norms. Interesting. I would have to look into that to give an opinion. Let's see. Panic may not be generated because the media also exaggerate the police's ability to control crime, I guess. Panic may not be generated because exaggerated reporting is constant and normalized. Some concerns may be legitimate and reflect real risks. Pedophile and knife crime panic. Okay, yeah. So some moral panics are justified. Interesting. The basics linked to labeling theory and neo-Marxism. Well, that's 100% true. Once again, control the language, control the mind. Dude, you have no idea how panicked I am about all of this. The media play a key role in creating moral panics. Yeah, the Mockingbird media. Let's see, the origins of the concept. No, I think we'll get into that later. That will be interesting, though. More contemporary examples of moral panic. So inner city mugging, Stuart Hall policing the crisis, punks and skinheads. Yeah, that probably is a genuine moral panic. Football hooligans. I mean, there is a real problem with football hooligans, though. Islamic terrorist. There's a good example of a genuine moral panic. Not to say that Islamic terrorists don't exist, but the fact that they were, after 9/11, they were behind every tree or behind every rock, 100% was a moral panic. My example I like to use is in the 1950s when the comic book code was created, because Congress said that comics, horror comics, crime comics, and like weird tales, like all of these different versions of comics were creating the destruction of the youth of America. And so they created the comic book code. They actually banned those style of comics, horror comics, weird tales, crime comics, all of that noir stuff. They actually outright banned it. And I think that is a genuine moral panic. Not to say that this stuff can't have an effect on the youth, because it does, but to blame solely comic books or music or video games or whatever you want, to blame that specifically as the downfall of the youth of America is laughable. All right. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, wait. One more thing. See, maybe I can get to it here. Yeah, nature of moral panics. Perfect. An activity gains media attention. Agencies of control respond. Deviance becomes amplified. Exaggeration. Isitation. Okay. Prediction. Problem becomes redefined. Yeah, I think I agree with that. So this is allegedly what the Satanic Panic was. I completely disagree with that, but I don't know. I don't know what to. Okay. Once again, I think this series and many other things that we will be covering again will show that the Satanic Panic was real. And that's why we do this show. Let's see. We're going to close out with that video that we started this with because it's just too fucking good. It is just too good. Who do you work for, Michael Tracy? Who do you work for? Who does number 2 work for? Let's see.
Who do you work for, Michael? Because I've never met anyone in my entire life who would like, who's paying you? Who do you work for? I think a lot of people are wondering this because I've never seen anyone quite like you going after victims of sex crimes and attacking them like this. So you must be being paid by someone in power who does not like these accusations that have been made against them. And I think it's fair to ask, are you being paid by any of the men who've been accused by Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm having trouble hearing right now. I wish I could respond to whatever nonsense she just blurted out.
I'm asking you if you have ever been paid by any of the men who have been accused.
Look at Mike's face right over here. Look at Mike's face.
But maybe somebody can
astonishing coincidence that you suddenly lost your hearing when you were asked a very difficult question. And rather telling, I may say.
I heard it.
Okay, I'm not saying you didn't get cut. I'm just saying.
If he can hear you, can you ask him that question? Because he can't hear me, but maybe he can hear you asking that question.
Yeah, I think it's a Michael, can you hear me?
Did you just hear me, Michael? I can hear you very faintly. Did you just allege that I'm somehow implicated in the Epstein criminality, or did I mishear you?
I asked if you were being
Tara asked if you're being paid by anybody to smear the victims of the Epstein
rather than
scandal.
defend the merits of her journalistic output, which she can't because it's indefensible, what does she do? She tries to impugn me personally, tries to imply or
you're not answering.
What's the answer to the question?
Of course, I'm not being paid by anyone.
Okay, Michael Tracy. Yep, the Satanic Panic was real, and Epstein is basically just the same thing. Okay, dude. Okay. One little last piece of information. I hope all of you take this with you. So one of the interesting bits of information is about all of this Satanic Panic stuff, because the claim is that clients blame their memories or their false memories, quote unquote, on their therapists. But here's the truth about this. Only a small percentage of clients with memories of extreme abuse blame their therapists. The number of accusations by clients who could blame their therapist for memories of abuse is well under 1%. It's under 1%. Anybody who knows statistical theory will tell you what this means. It means the claims of the very few are not likely representative. If there were any sort of a trend, we would be seeing a lot of accusations. However, what we are seeing is the vast majority of clients are sticking with their therapy and growing healthier. The majority of clients are doing better, and that is what good documentation would discover. That is missing in this picture. So, only 1% of clients blame their therapist for mind control or giving them these memories of extreme abuse. I mean, this is seen all over. We see this with the trans stuff too, where 10% of, or like, what is it? 7% of the population is defining what the 100% of the population is doing. It's absurd. So 1% of the population is defining what the results are for millions and millions of people who have experienced extreme abuse, and because of that, people deny it. Well, on that note, we're going to get out of here. So thank you all so much for tuning in, whether you watch this live or you're watching the replay back. I appreciate all of you from the bottom of my heart. If you guys weren't here, I'd still be doing it, but I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that everyone's getting something out of this. So next show will be Friday. There will be a short little show. It's already planned out and everything. Make sure and hit the like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Go to allmylinks.com/rise to liberty, rise-to-liberty.store, all of these things. Friday, 5:30 p.m. Mountain, 7:30 p.m. Eastern is the next show. And other than that, I would say I'm trying to find a new way to end the show instead of staying free, because I did that on the older shows. So I think I'm going to say beware of psyops and enrage glowies.